So we're talking about the opinion of the Baruch Tam that says that you could ask a goy to build a sukkah on sukkahs. If it came down, I'm saying, if the schach blew off, you can ask him to build. I'm not talking about building the whole sukkah, that's too complicated. Just putting the schach back up. So because if you have nowhere to eat, it's necessary for tzarech oichel nefesh. So Ronnie was asking that maybe don't eat in the sukkah, eat at home. So I'm just guessing. I'm not learning Hilchos Sukkah now, and I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that if you wouldn't have a sukkah on Yom Tov, you would eat a kazayas of bread outside the sukkah to fulfill the mitzvah of Sudas Yom Tov, and that's it. Not more than a kazayas. I'll tell you why. You could eat other foods, I'm saying, snack foods that you could eat outside the sukkah anyway, make her adim. Water, fruit, vegetables, whatever. When it comes to grain foods, so the kazayas, yes, because otherwise you're not going to be yotze the Sudas mitzvah of Sudas Yom Tov. So just because you're not being yotze sukkah means you shouldn't be. No. Exactly. So that way you can. So I'm saying that way you're eating less than a kavetza, so you're not really being over and eating outside the sukkah, but you're eating a kazayas, so you're being yotze the Sudas Yom Tov. So that way, that's it. But is that a suda? I'm saying, Yom Tov, you want to enjoy, you want to be able to have a few pieces of challah, dessert, whatever. So that's still tzorech oichel nefesh. You're not going to fast. You're right. If you don't have a sukkah, you're not going to fast. You're not going to be able to enjoy the meal because you're not going to be able to eat as much as you want. That's my guess. Sorry.
We have halacha somewhere. Let's say we have a sukkah and it's freezing snow.
מצטער.
מצטער
פוסק מן הסוכה, כן. מצטער פטור מן הסוכה. אבל אם אין לך סוכה, אתה לא יכול להגיד, אני מצטער כי אין לי סוכה. מצטער is פטור מן הסוכה. מצטער means you have a סוכה.
אני מצטער שאין לי סוכה, אני לא יכול לבנות אותה.
אז זה לא אקסקיוס, זה לא תירוץ. זה לא תירוץ. אתה צריך להצטער באמת. Okay. My friends, I think you should just eat a kazayas to do the mitzvah and that's it. Okay. My friends, we are continuing from where we left off yesterday. We were discussing, actually yesterday towards the end we were just doing carriage Shabbat Peh. Sorry? Hilchos and Alter Rebbe, you mean? I'll tell you in a moment. Yeah, I think we finished Hilchos, pretty sure. We're up to Yud Tes in the Alter Rebbe. Yud Tes and Alter Rebbe. And Yudei Tel Machaba, yeah. Okay, my friends. Yeah. We had about that before in the Alter Rebbe. We had about that before. I'll tell you in a moment. אנחנו בי"ב.
I know you spoke about it.
Zion. Alter Rebbe Zion. Baruch we had in Zion and Alter Rebbe. Okay, my friends, but before we continue inside, I just want to finish our discussion from yesterday. We had the opinion of the No, not Rabbi Yehuda. Who for?
By the way, just to be because you what it means what is
I'll get to Baruch. 1 second. I'm finishing up from yesterday. Baruch we'll get to. So we said yesterday that according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's forbidden to open up an umbrella. Midaraisa maybe, for sure Midarabanan. Even if it's open before, don't use it. Maras ayin, maybe just lifting it up isn't making an oil. Some Sefer disagreed. Different reasons why it's only Rabbanan. It's not the way it was in the Mishkan. It's not permanent at all. And if it's only Rabbanan, so then once it's easy to open, it becomes mutter, just like the curtain with the strings on. That was the Sam Sefer. The Maisa, the Sam Sefer said it's not a good thing. Man. But he said, I'm not going to stop those that do it. Bekitzer, so that's accepted Lamaisa. Even though, by the way, Chazon Ish, when he mentions this discussion, he says, really, I agree with Sam Sefer. I don't agree with the Lady Yehuda. However, he says, it's not nice. It's like a weekday activity, and it would lead to a pirza if people start doing it. And therefore, he says, it's up to the Chachamim to make extra fences in the place of a pirza, and it's even more important than a specific isser, because this is this is a fence for the nation, for now, and for all generations.
It's also going to be also on umbrella that attached to the stroller, to the baby stroller.
Oh, so I'm going to get to that right now. So just an interesting thing, by the way, that even though he wants to be mater, but he says lamaisa not to. That's probably where the Shmer Shabbos got his language from, by the way. I read it yesterday. Geder Godru Gedoyle Hadoris, that the great man of the generation made this geder about it. So he's probably getting that lashon from the Chazon Ish. Okay, so now the question is, what about covering a baby carriage? So if you want to take a sheet, you want to just take a sheet, you have a sheet, you want to cover the baby, it's hot, sun is beating down, you want to just take a sheet, cover the baby carriage.
Like an oil?
Allowed or not allowed?
It's like an oil?
It's like an oil?
For baby, is this everything for baby?
No, doesn't exist. It's not for the baby, it's for you. The baby didn't want to ask to go outside. You want to take the baby outside because you want to go to your neighbor's house. The baby was happy in your house. The baby doesn't want to go to synagogue. The baby's happy at home. You want to go to synagogue. Don't blame the baby.
So it's called oil, right?
Okay, of course it's called an oil. I have to take this call, excuse me. Hello? Yeah.
You know, umbrella is different. I think the umbrella is different. The blanket is like an oil, and the umbrella is different.
Most of the
הייתי גם בירושלים, עשיתי תפילין
I had something to do. I had to go down the street. So, how's business these days? Well, yeah, well, it's cold. You don't do heaters too?
Yeah.
Most of them were for sure. I don't know. My friend said that. I don't believe it. Yeah, this morning was cold. Tomorrow night, 42.
Tomorrow morning?
Night.
At night.
Thursday, 40 at night. Friday, 46. No, not so full time. They do like it.
All right, my friends. Sorry about that. You all there?
Yes.
Oh, a voice calling out from Highland Lakes somewhere.
Yes.
Excellent. Los Angeles is here. David, I assume New York is here. Miriam is Joseph, I presume. Yosef. Okay. Very good. Shmuel is here too. Excellent. Roll call. No. So, let me ask you another question. What if you want to put a mosquito net over your baby carriage? Mosquito net.
Yeah.
Just want to protect it from mosquitoes, not the sun, not the rain.
Well, is that a pikuach nefesh?
No pikuach nefesh. Like I said, the baby's happy indoors. You're the one who wants to go out. That's your issue. Don't blame it on the baby.
No, but that's what mosquito nets generally about.
Oh, even in the house, you're saying?
Well, a mosquito can contract disease.
You're saying even in the house, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe.
I'm just saying.
Maybe. That's a separate child. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you going out, which is your own personal agenda. It's nothing to do with the baby. And you want to protect the baby from mosquitoes. So, yeah.
If the top part's already open and top part, you're allowed to add.
Oh, okay. So if it already...
You can put a blanket, you can put this, the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
But if it's completely closed, it can be different.
Right. So you're saying if the roof is already open, a tefach, you can add to that tefach. Now, by the way, this is a general thing, something I didn't mention before, but the Hilchos Shabbos says as follows. When it's already open a tefach, you have to start adding from that side. You can't start adding from the other side, because you have to add to that.
Right.
Or, he says, you can add at once both sides. Like you have the net, you can just put it over.
It reaches.
As long as it's settling on both sides, but you can't start on the other side.
Catch up to
You have the baby carriage. Let's say this is the bottom, and these are the sides. And here it's sticking out a little bit. Now you want to put the net over it, which is, where's our paper from yesterday? Baruch Hashem, you have all the props here. You want to add the mosquito net. You have to put it like that, and not like that. Understand? Or, he says you could just put it over like that. So then it's going on both sides at the same time. But you can't start from the opposite side. That's just another point that I didn't explain to
You
that.
can put blanket anything you want.
Yeah,
What
whatever.
about the umbrella?
We'll discuss that.
That
We'll discuss
tefach that's being created, right?
It's being created or that was
That
already
was
created.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That is, I'm assuming it's, the cover that pops open. Okay. What if it doesn't have something like that? How do you start that tefach beforehand?
Before
You
you
can put
go,
like a blanket there that's a tefach?
Yeah.
Right?
Any protective thing. Could be a blanket, could be a sheet, could be
This
anything.
is going to be much, the blanket will be almost
That's-
lying down on the baby, so there's no tefach between the baby and where you put the blanket.
No, you
Well, I'm saying is
support
that
it on the
tefach does-
sides. What do you mean?
No,
Support
it
on the
doesn't
side.
have this top part.
No,
Just the stroller.
Okay, it has to have something to support it, otherwise it's not going to
I'm
be a
asking
tefach.
whether the tefach has to be attached permanently.
No.
So you could
Not at all.
temporarily add a tefach.
Not at all, absolutely. We're talking about it. The whole discussion here is about adding to an oil arai. So the more arai it is, the better. Permanence, that doesn't, the truth is sometimes it helps. We'll get to that. But that's no problem if it's temporary.
Without this top part,
Right.
whatever you call it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
doesn't have it.
roof.
It's like this buggy book, whatever, it doesn't have this part. Just flat. You're allowed to put. So basically, it's going to be lining on the frame of the store.
No, it has to
When
be
you start-
stuck out of tefach. It has to be stuck out of
You have
tefach.
to
Lying
start
there
with a tefach.
without protecting a tefach is not, you're not adding to an oil. It has to be an oil.
Rabbi,
So how are you going to make it? Whatever. How are you going to make it
No,
on
wait, hang on a
Shabbos?
second.
One second. How are you going to do it on Shabbos? What's going to hold it up?
הידית שלה,
You,
הידית של
you
הסטור,
need it to stay up like that.
הידית של הסטור,
See on the stroller.
על הידית, על הידית.
It's lying on the stroller. It's going to be on the baby's head.
Yeah.
How's he going to breathe?
רבי, no, הידית של הסטרולר,
No.
you put a blanket little bit על הידית and like טפח. because the idea is going.
It has to be protecting a tefach. It has to be a tefach that way, and it has to be protecting a tefach.
There's a stroller at this side, like almost lying down position the whole time.
Yeah.
Like a bassinet.
So it has walls. So it has walls. A bassinet has walls.
So
A bassinet has walls. So you support the sheet on the walls. That's all.
it shouldn't be, this one shouldn't be a problem so much.
Well, it's not a problem. You just have to start it before Shabbos. That's all.
And if you don't have it like it before.
Then you're in trouble. Time to stay
There's
home.
no
Sorry?
bassinet in between the baby and the blanket.
Bassinet tefach. Very unlikely. The bassinets are for small babies. They're not for big babies. It's very unlikely that the baby is reaching up till almost the top of those walls. Very unlikely. If yes, maybe.
How there's that one stroller which has this flat piece hanging out, and then for the shade you would go like this. Right?
So you
see what I'm
leave
saying?
it.
So is that count as a tefach, the fact that it's hanging from the back, let's say, that you flip it over?
So that doesn't count as a tefach because it's not protecting over anything when it's in that position.
Right.
But it may still be mutter based on the concept of the sukkah, which I'll get to in a moment. It's connected,
That's what
but it's not protecting.
Rabbi,
So that I'll discuss that right now.
anything in the house you're allowed to do because you got the roof on top of you, and it's a roof inside the house. So you like to do whatever you want inside, and then you go outside.
No,
So you have to prepare before Shabbat inside the house.
Yeah,
even
you
inside the
can't
house,
do it
yeah.
all inside the house necessarily.
yeah, inside the house you can't either. Even though in the house you don't need it for the protection, but the fact is you're doing it for the later protection. So it doesn't help. Doesn't help to do it inside the
But
house.
it's taking a room. You're folding the stroller, Rabbi.
What's your question?
You open the stroller to go outside.
So what's your question?
So if you open, you already put the tefach for the.
No, but he's saying you shouldn't do that. You should prepare from before Shabbat.
That's what we're questioning. That's what we're discussing. Are you allowed to open it on Shabbos? That's part of the question.
But why is not like that for shulchan? You know, the middle where you can remove it and put it.
That's not at all.
So here is a stroller, is folding and you open.
Sure. I'm not talking about the binyan aspect of the. I'm not talking about the binyan aspect of the stroller. You understand? I'm not talking about the fact that when you open the stroller, you're building it, because that's not building, because that's like opening a chair, that's like opening a door, that's nothing. I'm talking about oil.
So
Talking about oil. When we speak about opening a chair, you're not intending to make an oil. You're intending to open a chair. So maybe on the way you happen to be making an oil now because you're just opening it and you're not putting anything new there, it's not making an oil. But here you're actually intending to make an oil.
So if you open the stroller and you leave the cover for the head, leave it the position you open, or just leave it over there. At the same time you open, instead to leave it down, you open and you leave it like a tefach.
What's your question? I understand your
Or the
question.
stroller, if you're allowed to close
If
and open.
as you're opening, with the same action, you're putting the covering on. One action. Because as you're opening it, it's
We
either
didn't
gonna go
finish
one way or-
discussing the question of the roof, so it's a mature question. Okay.
If you have it open on Shabbos,
Yeah.
on Shabbos, can you take it away and put it back?
If you have the roof opened?
Yeah.
No. If it's open, you can only if it's open, you mean it's protecting.
Right.
You can only close it, meaning to say uncover it, if you leave a tefach there.
Okay.
Just like you can add to a tefach, you can remove up to the last tefach, but you can't remove the last tefach. Because then you're destroying an oil. Just like you can't make an oil, you can't destroy an oil.
But if it was attached to the door.
So, and you're detaching it, or you're just completely opening it?
Pushing all the way up, so there's no.
Okay, so that's the question of if it's like a sukkah or not, and that will depend on that. We'll discuss that now. All right, so here goes. The Chazon Ish is matir completely to open the roof of a baby carriage, as long as that roof is attached to the baby carriage. Meaning to say it's attached before Shabbos. This is important, because these roofs are usually detachable. Not all of them, but some of the roofs are detachable.
Yeah,
like the umbrella strollers, you know what I mean? You can completely take the roof off. So if the roof is off before Shabbos, there's no question you can't attach it and then open it. That's not a question. The Chazon Ish is talking about if it's attached from before Shabbos, certainly if it's permanently attached. So then the Chazon Ish says you can open it on Shabbos even if it was completely not covering before Shabbos. Completely swing on the other side, whatever it is. Why? He says that is no different than opening up a chuppah, which he considers, by the way, a chuppah to be an oil, but it's already made. Because you have the poles and you have the thing, and you're just opening it up. Also, he says, it's no different than the roof of a sukkah. Now, the chuppah you can argue with. You could say, well, maybe it's not really an oil, maybe it's just for covered, like we said yesterday. But the proof from the sukkah seems like a good proof. Because there, clearly, you're covering the sukkah for the sake of protection. Whether it's the protection of the schach from getting wet, or of the people underneath the schach from getting wet, or the kelim underneath the schach from getting wet, whatever it is, but it's definitely for protection. So, and the Ramah there says, and the Alter Rebbe there quotes him, that you're allowed to close the roof of the sukkah if it's attached with hinges, because it's not different than closing a door on Shabbos or Yantif or whatever. So it's the same thing. It's attached. You're just closing the door. That's the Chazon Ish's position. Now, it's not so clear if the Alter Rebbe agrees with it or not. And it really depends on the pshat of what we mean that it's like closing a door. Because the Noda B'Yehuda, in his discussion of umbrella, he brings up the question, why am I forbidding an umbrella when you're allowed to close the cover of the sukkah? And there it's clearly with the intention of creating an oil. So he says it's different there. Two reasons he says it's different. First of all, he says over there it's attached already to something that exists. So it's like it's nullified to that thing. You already have a sukkah. Exactly. You have a sukkah, you have walls, and you have a roof. So it's nullified to that. So it's not considered like a new thing. Another answer, he says, is that there you're just putting on the roof, you're not making any walls. With the umbrella,
the rest is the wall.
Exactly. Umbrella is roof and walls. And if you go back to the first reason, umbrella, you're making the whole thing. It's not attached to anything. It's just that is what you're making. So those are the two reasons. Now, based on those two reasons, you could play with it, whether it applies to a baby carriage or not. Because the baby carriage, on the one hand, it is tuffle to something. It is nullified to something. On the other hand, usually it is roof and walls. Usually. I'm saying it's on top, and it's usually going down the side also. So you are creating a kind of wall situation also. So it's not 100% clear. Now, in terms
it would just be a roof. There wouldn't be sides. It would just, let's say the carriage goes like this, and you just pull.
I think it would be mutter according to everybody. I don't think there would be an argument about that. Right, exactly. So now Lamaisa.
Without the top, just the walls, not put the blanket. But what if you hold the blanket, somebody puts a solar on?
No.
It's meant to do it.
That's only if you don't want to make an oil. That's only if you want to cover something and you need the space underneath, so it's also Rabbanon because it looks like an oil, so then you can make it in the reverse order. But if you want to make an oil for protection, no good.
To add to an existing oil instead was what?
To add an existing oil was mutter, even if it is for protection.
That's the example. Putting a blanket on something that's already halfway or
Yeah. Yeah.
over dark.
Yeah. Okay, my friend. So Lamaisa, what is the psak according to the Alter Rebbe regarding a baby carriage? According to Chazon Ish, it's mutter. It's not clear in the Alter Rebbe, because is it like a sukkah? Is it not? On the one hand, it's attached to something. On the other hand, you're also making walls.
But Lauren, if some rabbi matir, so we can. We can. Ayub said that words. We can.
Lenient.
Somech.
Lenient, yes. Somech.
That's it. Pashut. One rabbi is matir. That's it.
He's not the rabbi. He's a gadol gadol.
He's a big rabbi. Yeah.
Why
Yes.
do you say
B'diavad, you're making sense.
B'diavad, for sure. B'diavad, we're not going to punish you. But I'm saying, if a person wants to go like the Alter Rebbe, that's what I'm saying. A person, is up in the air. Yeah, the Chazon Ish is a big person, no question about it. But if a person is Chabad, he wants to go by the Alter Rebbe. So that's what we're discussing. Yes.
Why do you say making walls?
I'm talking about if you are. I'm saying a lot of these things have walls that go down the sides, top and sides. You know what I'm saying? Picture.
Isn't like you're adding to always the existing walls that you have from the stroller and so on?
I don't know.
It's a separate piece, though.
I don't know. You even if there are walls, but you're making walls and a roof. It's more strict. By the sukkah, he says you're just putting a roof. Even though there are walls there, it's mashma. If there would be a roof and more walls, it would be a problem. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's the reason. The kids are so the Maisa. I looked through some poskim, and I discovered that there's no clarity in the sheet of the Alter Rebbe. No, Alter Rebbe doesn't mention stroller. He doesn't mention umbrella. But he mentions the heter to close the roof of the sukkah in Tafresh Chaf Vav towards the end of the siman. The siman. I don't remember which sefer. Towards the end of siman Tafresh Chaf Vav in Al Sukkah, he says that you're allowed to close the roof of the sukkah if it's attached with hinges because it's like a door. So that's the basis, or one of the bases of the Chazon Ish's psak. So the question is.
This roof shouldn't be more than a tepach on the existing spot.
No, doesn't mention
It can be more.
Yeah, it's mashma. It's not important. He doesn't mention it. Okay, if it's less than a tef on the existing schach, you don't need that heter because it's not making an oil. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, because otherwise you don't need the heter.
You're making another oil on top of the schach.
Exactly. Still, it's mutter because it's like closing a door.
Because it's attached. So why this piece that is attached to the stroller, you have the inches of the roof of the sukkah?
I'm saying it. So maybe it is allowed, just like the sukkah. Or maybe no, because maybe there it's just a roof and here it's also walls.
Does it mention over there that to be this open and tepach? Or
No. Doesn't have to be. That's the whole chiddush.
So if you're not for me, you can say it's going to be closed all the way.
Exactly. The Chazon Ish definitely says that.
No, I mean like you can understand from the Rebbe, it also is going to be allowed.
Maybe not, because there's walls and there's no walls here. There is walls.
But it could be super creating also walls.
No, you're not creating walls.
Roof
No, the roof is not walls. The roof is roof. Roof is roof.
You have this shape and it's going on top of it.
Nah, that's already something else. He's not talking. That's already something else.
Like carport, it's like a triangle.
Yeah, but that's not the usual. The usual.
Sukkah is flat.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. Anyway, he's talking about a roof that goes up and down with hinges. He's not talking about a machzelas. He's talking about a roof with hinges, so it's like a hard thing. So the Chabad authority that does discuss it is the Kseis HaShulchan, Rav Ram Chaim now. He was Chabad, yeah. Chabad and Bukharan, interesting mix. No, he was Ashkenazi and Chabad, but he became the Rav in a Bukhara and Shul. He dressed like the whole dress, and he sang the songs and everything. He was quite a character. Big Talmud Chacham. Anyway, so he answers it, but interestingly, he doesn't at all go into the question of why it's different than a sukkah. He just says that it's not like opening a folding chair, because there you don't intend to protect, and here you do. That's it. He doesn't address why it's different than a sukkah, so it's hard to understand what his basis is. Besides him, the Minchas Yitzchak brings this question. The Minchas Yitzchak is Rabbi Yaakov Yitzchak Weiss, the Dayan of the Eidah Charedis in Yerushalayim, and he wrote Sefer Minchas Yitzchak of his Chuvas, very respected. No, but he was asked about the Shita of the Alter Rebbe for baby carriages. The Shoyal asked him specifically about that, and he goes back and forth. He's not like 100% clear, but he leans towards leniency, based on the fact that it's already attached. So it's like the sukkah wall, like the roof of the sukkah. I didn't see. No. Now the two people that I couldn't find, even though they were quoted, one I found and it wasn't. He didn't say what he was quoted to say. And one I couldn't find at all. And this is a problem when you're using Sfarim of Malaktim, and that's why it's so important to look them up. One quotes Rav Moshe as saying it's not allowed. Not allowed, not even according to Alter Rebbe. Moshe says not allowed. So I couldn't find it in there. It's not in the, he quotes a certain true, it's not there, probably a misprint or whatever, a misquote. It's somewhere in Rav Moshe, I have to track it down. He also quoted the Shevet HaLevi, supposedly who says it's not allowed, but I looked it up in the Shevet HaLevi, and he's not talking about a roof that's attached. He's talking about putting a roof on a baby carriage. Doesn't say that it's attached, so that's not even relevant. The kids are...
that was all from the deer show?
No. The Igros Moshe and the Shevet HaLevi were brought in the Piskei Chuvas. We can email him, it's no problem. Although, truth to tell, I was looking in his first edition. He came out with the second edition of Hilchos Shabbos. So, truth is, maybe he was corrected. I should check there and see. It's not the first time. With all due respect, it's not the first time. Yeah. Whatever, Malaktim are not perfect. He did a great work, but you always have to look it up. Can't pass it based on it or any malakit, because they're busy doing 1,000 sugyas, going through 1,000 sugyas, and not every quote is exactly just so. Okay, so the bottom line is, my feeling is lahater. I called him by Heller on the way over here, and he actually had an interesting take that I was surprised by. He wasn't sure about the Rebbe and the Sukkah and the Chazon Ish and all that. He didn't have a strong opinion on that. He said it has to be Ma'ayan. But he said an interesting thing, that he thinks that even if the stroller is bunched up, it counts for a tefach. Even if it's bunched up, as long as even if the roof is closed, as long as it's sticking a tefach out, he says it counts for a tefach.
Meaning while being closed, the whole thing bundled.
The whole thing bundled, if it sticks out a tefach, he says it counts. It's an interesting thing because by the machzelas, it says clearly it doesn't count if it's rolled up. But the difference is that the machzelas, you don't put up there for protection until you unroll it. You know what I'm saying? But here it's the same exact thing, except that it's bunched. You see what I'm saying? So it's different than the machzelas where it's rolled, and when you're going to unroll it, it's almost like a new thing. Here it's the same exact thing that
Hello?
Hi, I think we lost the audio or signal.
I thought it was just me.
Yeah. Maybe I'll send the rabbi a text.
He said he's trying to reconnect.